Namaste. My name is Preity Upala, and I am a global thought leader and a multimedia personality. Welcome to my podcast, The Preity Experience. Join me as I explore some of the most fascinating and crucial issues that affect our world today. I take a unique global perspective on these issues, and the very foundation of my insights is humanity and spirituality. I'm Preity Upala, and welcome to the Preity Experience.
Good afternoon, esteemed dignitaries and our amazing attendees. Namaste. I want to extend a very hearty, warm welcome to the second day of this amazing conference, Women Power Summit 2020. For the uninitiated, I am Anushka, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all and host you all today this very warm and amazing afternoon. तो कल की तरह आज भी हम सभी यहाँ एकत्र हुए हैं बहुत सारे अमेजिंग पर्सनालिटीज को सुनने के लिए, समझने के लिए और उनसे प्रेरणा लेने के लिए. We are about to witness a group of very intellectual and enthusiastic academicians, social activists, media celebrities, achievers, and inspiring individuals talk about one of the most widely discussed and pertinent topic of the 21st century, women empowerment. His discussion is going to be very power-packed, very interesting, and very thought-provoking to say the least. Our efforts today have only been fruitful because of our unconditional support from our leaders, intellectual and enthusiastic academicians, from the Siddhartha Education Foundation, Eternal Hindu Foundation, and the Thomas Seva Foundation. Is there a glitch? Hello. A special thanks to Siddharth sir for bringing us all and making this possible. We are deeply indebted to you for this initiative, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we will begin. मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी हमारे गेस्ट्स को, हमारे पैनलिस्ट को, जिन्होंने यहाँ आके हमारे इवेंट की शोभा और बढ़ाई है. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग अस योर प्रेशियस टाइम. मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद हमारी ऑडियंस का भी देना चाहूंगी, जिन्होंने अपना कीमती समय कल और आज हमें दिया. कल के सेशंस के लिए आपने जो हमें बहुत सारा प्यार और प्रतिक्रिया दी, उसके लिए भी बहुत बहुत आभार. Let's begin today with our esteemed speaker and honorable guest, Dr. Captain Sikandar Rizvi's address. He is a senior pilot known for his skills and finesse, and he's an eminent thinker. He is a doctorate in social welfare and humanity from a prestigious university in France. He is passionately involved in social services and working for the welfare and empowerment of our youth. He is equally concerned and involved in analyzing and sharing his expert views on multiple social, cultural, and political topics. Popularly and fondly known as the virtual Prime Minister of the Gilgit-Baltistan, Sir has graced multiple media channels with his honorable presence and shared his enlightening views with all in today's generation. Sir is also a very learned Islamic scholar and is actively involved in solving and clearing multiple religious myths adulterating today's generation. I would now like to request him to bestow us with his words. Sir, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. सभी का स्वागत करता हूं मैं, सुनने वालों का और पार्टिसिपेट करने वालों का. ये जो आज का टॉपिक है, ये मेरे दिल के बहुत करीब है. दिल के इसलिए करीब है कि एक नारी क्या समाज के अंदर, परिवार के अंदर, इस धरती पे कितनी ज्यादा महत्ता है, मुझसे ज्यादा पर्सनल लाइफ में कोई नहीं जान सकता है. मैं अपनी कोई कहानी नहीं सुनाने आया हूं, बस ये बताने आया हूं कि सब्जेक्ट जो है, ये टॉपिक जो है, ये मेरे दिल के करीब बहुत ज्यादा है. मेरे पिताजी का देहांत हुआ, मैं 5 साल का था. मेरी माँ ने मुझे पाल पोस के बड़ा किया. हम बहन भाई, सबसे छोटा मैं. मेरे पिताजी की शक्ल याद नहीं, लेकिन मेरी माँ ने उस नारी का उस समय जो कर्तव्य निभाया, एक छोटे से परिवार को सबको पढ़ा लिखा करके, हमारी बहनों को, मेरे सब बड़ी थी मुझे, मैंने इसीलिए कहा ना कि प्रैक्टिकल में बैठा हूं कि नारी का कितना महत्व है, कितने वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट। अगर मेरी मदर पढ़ी लिखी ना होती, वो डॉक्टर थी, तो मैं यहां ना पहुंच पाता, ना मेरे बहनें पढ़ पाती, ना मेरा परिवार आगे चल पाता। घर में जायदाद होती, सब कुछ होती है, लेकिन ईंट पत्थर नहीं खाए जाते हैं। इसलिए नारी का जो रूप है, वो माँ भी है, वो बहन भी है, वो पत्नी भी है, सभी रिश्तों में है। इसको सब आप लोग जानते हैं। मेरे लिए इतना इंपॉर्टेंट ये था, आज जहां पर भी हूं, सबसे पहले मैं अपनी माता जी को, उनकी आत्मा को मैं प्रणाम करता हूं कि मुझे किसी लायक बनाया कि सच्चा और अच्छा भारतीय नागरिक। वेदों में भी नारी का महत्व है, वेदों में भी उनकी ड्यूटी दी गई है। वेदों के अंदर भी आप देखिएगा तो नारी को आगे बढ़ाया गया है, नारी को इस रूप में दर्शाया गया है कि वो सब कुछ, वो व्यापार कर सकती है, वो घर चला सकती है, वो शासन चला सकती है, वो शासक बन सकती है। सब कुछ दिया है वेदों में। उस पीरियड की बात हो रही है, उस पीरियड, लोग कहते हैं ना कि पुराने जमाने की बात करें तो पुराने जमाने में नारी का ज्यादा महत्व था। और आज के दौर में, अभी के दौर में अगर हम देखते हैं तो लोगों ने अब कहना शुरू कर दिया नारी बराबर है, नारी बराबर है। नारी वैदिक पीरियड में भी बराबर से थी, कभी कमी नहीं आई थी उनमें। आज के दौर में हम देख रहे हैं नारियों को कहां से कहां पहुंच गई। हमारे देश के अंदर आप देख लीजिए, लड़ाकू जहाज उड़ाने लगी, डॉक्टर, वकील, इंजीनियर, साइंटिस्ट होना तो एक बात ही थी, आज वो फाइटर पायलट भी वहां किया है। मैं लंबी स्पीच इस पे कुछ देना नहीं चाहता हूं, क्योंकि जितना आप लोगों को ज्ञान होगा, जितना आप लोगों को इस टॉपिक पे तैयारी की होगी, वो हमारे बस एक अपनी माँ को देखा है, इसलिए मैं अपनी प्रैक्टिकली अपनी लाइफ को देखा किस तरह स्ट्रगल करके। मजेदार बात है, जब मैं हाई स्कूल में था तब मेरी मदर रिटायर हो गई थी, और क्लिनिक चलाने का तब दौर नहीं था। पहले डॉक्टर क्लिनिक नहीं चलाते थे, तो होता नहीं कि खाने के लिए भी पैसे होते हैं। उस माँ ने, उस नारी ने किस तरह से हम बहन भाइयों को पाल पोस के बड़ा किया, वो मैं प्रैक्टिकल आपके सामने बैठा हूं। एक नारी पूरे परिवार को बना सकती है, एक नारी पूरे परिवार को बिगाड़ सकती है। वो चाहे तो भगवान ईश्वर से भी लड़ जाती है, वो डरती नहीं है किसी से। नारी अपना रूप में अगर जब आती है वो, तो वो दुर्गा भी बन जाती है, वो लक्ष्मीबाई भी बन जाती है। हम लोग आज के जिस दौर से गुजर रहे हैं, भारत में अब अपनी लड़कियों को, बेटियों को हमको दुर्गा भी बनाना है, लक्ष्मी भी बनाना है, और उनको फाइटर पायलट भी बनाना है, उनको साइंटिस्ट भी बनाना है। हमें उनको घर में नहीं बैठाना है। और सबसे पहले उनके लिए एजुकेशन। परिवार में लड़कियों की एजुकेशन पे ध्यान कम लोग देते हैं, बेटे पे ज्यादा देते हैं। बेटा ये बन जाए, बेटा आईएएस बन जाए, बेटा वो कर दे, लड़कियों को नंबर 2 पे रखते हैं। ये हमको धारणा बदलनी पड़ेगी परिवारों में, ये सोच हमको बदलनी पड़ेगी। और ये सोच जो है वो कुंठित हो जाती हैं बेटियां घर की, जब देखती हैं कि बेटे को, भाई को आगे बढ़ाया जा रहा है, जबकि वो ज्यादा उनसे इंटेलिजेंट है, ज्यादा कर सकती हैं। लेकिन हमारे गलती क्या है हमारे परिवारों में, कि हम लोग अपने बेटे को आगे बढ़ाने की कोशिश करते हैं। अब वो टाइम बदल गया है। अब हमको एजुकेशन के अंदर और इस तरह के प्रोग्राम जो आप लोग कर रहे हैं, हमको अवेयरनेस लानी है समाज के अंदर, अपने लोगों को जागरूक करना है कि भाई बेटी आपके बराबर से है, बेटी को बराबर का हक भी मिलना चाहिए। वेदों के अंदर है कि जो लड़कों का हक बनता है, तो बेटी को भी बराबर से हक बनता है उसका, उसकी चाहे संपत्ति का हो, चाहे उसके परिवार में उसके अधिकारों का हो, उतना ही उसका हक है जितना कि एक बेटे का है। ये हमको शुरू करना पड़ेगा, इस पे हमको काम करना पड़ेगा, हमको अवेयरनेस लानी पड़ेगी, समाज के लोगों को तैयार करना पड़ेगा, बेटी को बराबर माने, बेटे से कम न माने। मैं लंबी बात नहीं करना चाहता हूं, ये मेरी शुरुआत थी, और आप लोगों ने मुझसे कहा था कि मुझे आप शुरू में ही मुझे स्पीच दी जाएगी। ये टॉपिक हमारे दिल के करीब था, इसलिए मैं 2 शब्द बोल सका, उसके लिए गलती हुई, माफी चाहूंगा। और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और सारी बहनों को, सारी बेटियों को मैं दुआ देता हूं दिल से कि आप हिंदुस्तान की मजबूत नारी बन के उठिएगा, मजबूत नारी उठ करके। जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम।
Thank you so much, sir. इतने encouraging शब्दों के लिए. I think screen पे भी जितनी भी ladies हैं और जो सुन भी रही हैं, मैं सभी की एक बड़ी सी smile देख सकती हूँ. और बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के कि आप लोगों जैसे लोग हैं हमें गाइड करने के लिए, हमें मेंटोर करने के लिए और हमें प्रोत्साहन देने के लिए. थैंक यू सो मच. बहुत ही encouraging शब्द. Thank you. Now we are going to move on to our very first panel for the day. Our first panel of the day is adorned with passionate individuals, each of them so different yet so similar in their zeal to bring a change in their society and the country. Joining today, we have amazingly fierce and strong, award-winning broadcast journalist, Ma'am Sakal Bhatt. She is famous for her groundbreaking reportage of various burning political incidents like the abrogation of Article 370, CAA, and so on. She is a true inspiration for budding journalists and reporters and an exceptional intellectual. She is also a successful content producer, having pioneered a series of documentaries on topics like Kashmir exile and exodus, amongst various others. She is currently working as a consulting editor and senior journalist with DD News. She is also known for her power-packed news delivery, which stirs the soul of her audience and fills them with vigor and strength. Our another guest is Ma'am Payal Rohtagi, a very famous name. Ma'am Rohtagi is an amazing actress, Bollywood celebrity, and an equally passionate social activist. She has been featured in various daily soaps and reality television shows and can be witnessed raising her voices for the most crucial national, international issues on various social media platforms. Ma'am was also crowned as Miss Tourism World in 2001 beauty pageant and won laurels for the country at this prestigious international platform. Known for her fierce and zealous attitude, Ma'am has never been scared of calling a spade a spade. She is what they call a firebrand nationalist. Ma'am has won various awards for her exceptional performance as a reality TV personality. Welcome, ma'am. Next up, we have Ma'am Preity Upala, an international keynote speaker and astute political commentator who was recently awarded the Youth Iconic Leader of the Year at Women's Economic Forum in Delhi. She's a geopolitical and international relations expert. A global citizen, she is popularly and fondly considered a spiritual ambassador and a connecting bridge between the East and the West, winner of multiple awards, including the prestigious and coveted title of Miss India. Preity Ma'am is also a certified Dharma ambassador. Ma'am has also been chosen as representative and ambassador for multiple women leadership organizations, Global Women Empowerment Network, and International Platform for Peace. We also have Ma'am Rini Lin, who is a vigorous public figure activist, published author, columnist, and founder for Voice of India project. Her affinity for India is inspiring, and she's time and again stood up for the cause of India across multiple international platforms and forums. The panel will be moderated by exceptionally talented Sir K. Siddhartha, a polymath in true sense with never-ending knowledge about science, environment, religion, nature, technology, culture, social sciences, Indian and world economy, society and political issues like geopolitics, international relations. He's also a pioneering educationist, extremely popular media personality and celebrity, and a multifaceted mentor that every aspirant desires. They will be sharing their views about the Beti or the baby conundrum, whether Indian women are adopting or inclining towards Indian values or Western ideas of living. The audience will be inspired to know that Siddharth sir, apart from being an immensely talented earth scientist, geostrategist, mentor, scholar, eminent author, is also a pursuant of design intelligence, one of the very advanced level of fashion studies. Not just science now, sir is also well versed with fashion studies. I would now like to request sir to take up the control and moderate the panel.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words. It was a bit too much for me. We have an esteemed panel. And everyone is exceptional in this case. Now, I just want to begin with it. Anyone who gave me a credit for starting it, we couldn't have started without the initiative of Sanjay ji. We couldn't have started without Vijay Saab. We couldn't have started without all of those members. I mean, Subhi Khan, Manushi Sinha, Meenakshi ji. and of course we cannot go ahead without this panel as well. हमारी इज्जत इन्हीं के साथ में बनती है. To begin with, I just want to understand this topic, not only for myself, but for the audience itself. So consider me, to all of those panel members, consider me as a novice, consider me as naive in this case. That is, supposing I don't go to know the difference between that. मतलब इनके बीच में हमें अंतर नहीं मालूम है. इसकी शुरुआत हम अपने कुछ एक्सपीरियंस से करेंगे. हमारे इतने स्टूडेंट्स हैं तो कुछ ऐसे एक्सपीरियंस से करेंगे और तब आपसे पूछेंगे कि ये क्या था, ये कैसा था. एक एक्सपीरियंस रहा, एक अनुभव रहा हमारा, वो अहमदाबाद में रहा. अहमदाबाद में मेरी एक स्टूडेंट थी जो बहुत ही निर्धन परिवार से, बहुत ही पुअर फैमिली से थी. उसके फादर किसी जगह पर दरबान हुआ करते थे और अंततः वो सिविल सर्विसेज की प्रिपरेशन करना चाहती थी, नहीं कर पाई, लेकिन एक मल्टीनेशनल कंपनी में उसने अच्छा खासा काम कर दिया. वह अपने पेरेंट्स को लेकर गई अहमदाबाद में. वो वहां पर रिलायंस में काम करती थी और बहुत अच्छी सैलरी हो गई थी उसे. कंपनी की तरफ से उसे फ्लैट मिला हुआ था, अपने माँ बाप को भी रखती थी. और वह वैसा ही नहीं, उसके मोहल्ले के कम से कम 7-8 लोग थे जो जिसके लिए उन्होंने घर ले लिया था, वहां पर रहती थी. हमें एक बार मौका मिला तो एक्सीडेंटली मुंबई से दिल्ली आने के रास्ते में अहमदाबाद चले गए. जाने पर शाम का समय था. शाम का समय तो बहुत दिनों से बुला रही थी. हमने देखा कि उसके पास में कोई एक लड़का आ रहा, उसके दोस्त आ रहे हैं, दूसरा दोस्त आ रहा है, उसके साथ में रहने की पेशकश कर रहे हैं. तो अंततः हमने पूछा कि ये क्या है. उसने ये कहा कि सर, अगर हम इस पूरे पहलू पर अपने आप को इंगेज नहीं कर पाए तो इतना स्ट्रेस है, 18 घंटे हमें काम करना पड़ता है, 3 काम करना पड़ता है. तो इस बारे में हमने किसी को भी कुछ छिपाया नहीं है. आई जस्ट वॉन्ट टू लिव माई लाइफ. वो लड़की अपने माँ बाप को सपोर्ट करती थी. वो लड़की अपने मोहल्ले के 7-8 लोगों को सपोर्ट करती थी. अपने माँ बाप के लिए उसने जन्नत बना दिया था, बिल्कुल हेवन बना दिया था. एक यह एक्सपीरियंस था. दूसरा एक एक्सपीरियंस था, इन्फोसिस में एक बार हमें बुलाया गया था. तो इन्फोसिस में जब हमें बुलाया गया था तो उस जगह पर हमें, मेरा जो लेक्चर था वो एसेंशियल नेशनलिज्म के ऊपर में था कि नेशनलिस्टिक वैल्यू कैसे मार्केट को डिटरमाइन करते हैं. तो वो इंटरनेशनल लेक्चर था एसेंशियली. उसमें ब्रिटेन के लोग थे, जर्मनी के लोग थे, भारत के लोग थे, लड़कियां थी उसमें मूलतः उस जगह पर. तो इनके साथ में बातचीत हुई. तो बातचीत करके हम लोगों ने बताया, सेल्फिश का एग्जाम्पल लेकर, लक्ष्मी का एग्जाम्पल लेकर. 1994 में मिस वर्ल्ड, मिस इंडिया बनाया गया. तो उस कंटेक्स्ट में तब उसका हम लोगों ने एग्जाम्पल लिया कि यह क्या इशू इसके साथ में आ रहा है, कैसा इशू आ रहा है. तो जब ऐसी हम लोगों ने बातचीत की इसके कंटेक्स्ट में, तो बातचीत ओवर हो गई. तो लड़कियों को, भारत की लड़कियों ने कहा कि सी वी आर गोइंग टू बी ग्लोबल पावर, ब्रिटेन हैज रूल्ड अस, एंड of course everything was in English, and now we're going to rule Britain. We have brought JLR, that means Jaguar Land Rover. British people are eating curry and they will soon go on to be a master of Britain. तो ये बात चलती गई, मतलब कि करीब 10-15 मिनट तक इनके बीच में बातचीत होने लगी. तभी ब्रिटेन की कुछ लड़कियों से रहा नहीं गया. उन्होंने कहा, और हम माफी चाहेंगे उस पूरे बात को बताने के लिए, लेकिन यह इतना ही सिग्निफिकेंट है. उन लोगों ने शुरुआत की कि हाउ डेयर यू डैश डैश डैश, हाउ डेयर यू अगेन डैश डैश डैश, यू कॉल योरसेल्फ इंडिपेंडेंट, you eat like us, you drink like us, you try to dress like us, you try to think like us, you speak our language, you follow us, you imitate us, you try to get married to our girls, you try to get married to our boys, you're going to follow everything that is British, you're going to follow everything lifestyle, you're going to dress like us, and you go on to, and then the debate was over. Now, my first question is going to be to Sakal-ji, that is, who among these girls, I mean, आप किसे कहेंगे, कौन इसमें बेटी थी, कौन उसमें बेबी थी? Who was that? Am I audible? Am I audible?
You're audible, sir, but who is answering? I can't hear.
Ma'am, your network is...
Sakal, but the question is to Sakal, but...
Hanji.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Oh,
sir, you're audible. I think this network is... Yes.
Yeah, I think it was a network issue. First of all, big thanks to all of you and to the moderator. I think कुछ इतनी तारीफ की हमें आदत नहीं. मैं एक बहुत ही साधारण सी पत्रकार हूँ और मैं अपना काम करती हूँ. To cut the long story short, I'm sorry I couldn't hear the question very clearly. There were a lot of audio glitches, but I got the gist of it. I personally believe that, see, my experience on this has been very simple. In my own domain, first of all, हमारा domain male dominated bastion नहीं माना जाता है. I don't know about others, but मुझे कभी उस distinction या differentiation से नहीं गुजरना पड़ा. I have covered equally difficult assignments जो मेरे male colleagues ने cover किए, literally like war zones. So there has never been a moment where I was denied a certain assignment because I am a female. It has never happened to me personally. Number one. Number two, मुझे ये लगता है कि ये अब gender bias, gender distinction, बेटी, baby, all this in a way is a thing of past because women have actually broken the glass ceiling. ये क्लीशे नहीं है, ये actually हो रहा है. अगर हम डिफेंस में देखें, पॉलिटिकल स्फीयर में देखें, अपनी कैबिनेट में देखें, कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑन सिक्योरिटी में देखें, ये धीरे धीरे ये चीज अब बहुत पुरानी होती जा रही है कि लड़कियों को आगे उनको स्पेशल राइट्स की जरूरत है, उनको 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 कुछ खुद को ज्यादा प्रूव करना पड़ रहा है किसी भी स्फीयर में खुद को प्रूव करने के लिए. तो यू नो दे हैव टू मूव अ लिटिल एक्स्ट्रा माइल. पायल, आई थिंक यू वुड एग्री विद मी देयर. आई थिंक वी हैव कम we have gone much beyond that point where a beti has to prove her mettle कि मुझे भी rights दो, मुझे भी पढ़ना है, मुझे भी काम पे जाना है. My personal experience, which has been the most closest to my heart, is my house help who comes. I will not call her a maid. She's like a family. And she has got 4 daughters and 2 sons. And she's equally taking care of her daughters and she's very clear that whatever little education, जितना बेटा पढ़ेगा उतनी मेरी बेटी भी पढ़ेगी. I mean, this is which I see every day. Every day. It's not that, and by the way, during the COVID times, there were some families in our locality that actually reached out to her. Can you send your daughter? We'll pay. Can she come home and do a little bit of calm and we'll pay? This woman denied. She said, no, वो घर में पढ़ रही है. मुझे उससे काम नहीं करवाना. So the bottom line being, Mr. Siddharth, I feel when I look back as a girl, as somebody who's been born and brought up in a conflict-ridden place like Kashmir, and I've traveled, I've gone on assignments, political, apolitical, I've stayed in difficult conditions with my male colleagues. I have not come across anything wherein I was made to feel that I'm a woman. Yes, maybe this is also a very individual and personal thing, how you deal with the situation and how you're perceived by the rest of the world. I think we have gone beyond the baby syndrome of emulating the best practices in West. We outshine, whether it is Timbuktu or whether it is London. As a professionals, we have done it. Even as betis, when we go abroad, I think we would be looked upon for the values that have been inculcated in us by our parents. As a beti, I would say, whether we come from middle class or upper middle class, etc. So the bottom line being that we've broken the glass ceiling and there is a paradigm shift. There is that gray space जो बीच का है, वो diminish होता जा रहा है. वो diminish होता जा रहा है. And this has got nothing with who rules at the center. It is all a very individual and a family upbringing kind of. And what you
got it, Satyajit. Now, the same question based on my experience to Preity ji. Yes, Preity ji.
Oh yes, sorry, my light just went off for a second here. Namaste everyone. Thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show. It's an honor to be on this panel with the other esteemed guests. Now, I have a interesting privilege of having actually lived abroad and then traveling to India and going through that journey where the whole world still looks at me as an Indian woman, although a lot of my thinking and maybe even my actions have been more westernized, I would say. But in my own spiritual journey and maturing I started off as an investment banker in a heavily dominated, male-dominated industry, moved into consulting, and then I made the switch to entertainment and media, which again is actually quite male-dominated as well, here in Los Angeles, of all places. And it's been quite a journey, because I feel like I'm coming full circle, where I actually value what it really means to be a woman. I think this topic of Shakti is very important in the world at large. Feminism is the most pertinent issue of the 21st century. We are seeing that around the world, whether it's India or America. And I actually feel that what we have is priceless in the world. And I can't speak enough of this, that it's very easy to be modern. It's very easy to think that we can do what the man can do. That's not what being a woman is about. A woman's power comes from her femininity, her softness, her vulnerability, her sensuality, and all of those wonderful qualities. And I feel like the Indian woman actually embodies that better than anyone else. And we've always been seen as that on the world stage. And I want, Indian women, the Betis, to actually hold on to that, really hold on to that for dear life, because I think that's much more precious than trying to prove something to the world. I don't, I've said feminism, quite frankly, has morphed into something else here in the West, and we're seeing the flip side of it, where it's turning off women. And I think there is a need to come back to the real qualities of what it is to be a woman. And ironically, I actually see that in the Indian atmosphere, let's say, or the environment. Whenever I visit India, I see it. It's very, very clear. And back home here in Los Angeles, I find women trying to be like men. I think we should always fight for parity and equality. These are wonderful aspirations, but men and women are not alike, and nor should we force this gender sort of fluidity in that way. I think there is an ideology that wants to remove any gender differences, and that's simply not possible biologically or for practical purposes, to be honest. So my prayer, or my letter to the Indian woman, is hold on to your inherent feminine qualities. This is a culture, it's a 5,000-year plus culture that has cherished the goddess. This is a culture where we elevate the feminine. We've always done that. We may have social issues, every country does, but I think beyond all that, we can showcase that we uphold the woman as the last goddess worshipping culture in the world. Is something that must be treasured. And I actually think that the West can learn a lot from us and from the Indian woman. The example that you shared with the British women asking Indian women why we are imitating them, I think we do not need to ape the West. I don't see the value in that. I think we're doing just fine. I think the beauty of India is the syncretic nature of the land and within us, where we take the best from everywhere and make something of our own. So my I guess prayer also to the British woman would be, no one wants to imitate you. I don't think the Indian woman should be aping the West. In fact, I fear that we're losing what's inherently Bharatiya in this pursuit of being that modern Western style woman. I don't think it's going to do us any favors, considering the global, what's going on in the world. I think post-COVID, everybody is sort of coming back to their tradition, and ours is a framework that has worked. And I think it's one of the few frameworks that has worked. And I think there's a lot that we can teach the world. But in order to be that Vishwa Guru, I think we actually have to embody those qualities and not let them go. So I really urge Indian women to be so proud of who you are, hold your head up high, always have your values. You can be as independent as you want. Never forget the softness and, things like respecting your parents and your elders, decency, being dignified, elegance. These things are very much part of our DNA. And I think the world actually looks at the Indian woman in that manner. And I don't think we should be giving them any excuses to not look at us in that way. So just very briefly, that was my introduction on what it means to be feminine in modern India, and how our main aim should actually be to uphold these values and showcase it to the world.
थैंक यू सो मच पायल जी। इस पूरे बात को और आप स्पष्ट कर सकती हैं। हमने 2 उदाहरण दिए, हमने 2 एग्जाम्पल दिए। अब दोनों एग्जाम्पल में इसमें बेटी कौन है, वो जो अहमदाबाद का एग्जाम्पल है वो बेटी है या नहीं है, और एक ब्रिटिश एग्जाम्पल दिया जहां इन्फोसिस की ट्रेनिंग की बात है। आप ज्यादा स्पष्ट कर पाने की स्थिति में होंगी, ज्यादा आप क्लीन कर पाने की, क्लियर कर पाने की स्थिति में होंगी।
सिद्धार्थ जी, मुझे आपका ब्रिटिश वाला एग्जाम्पल सुनाई दिया, नमस्ते टू एवरीबडी, बट वो अहमदाबाद वाला एग्जाम्पल, माय इंटरनेट वेंट अवे, सो आई वुड वांट टू हियर इट अगेन, और यू जस्ट वांट मी टू टॉक ऑन माय थॉट्स फर्स्ट?
No, I just going to give an example. Ahmedabad, there was a girl who was from a slum area. Her father was a Durban, और उसने बहुत अच्छे पोजीशन दे दिए. Finally, she went on to become very successful. So what she did was, she took her entire family, she took her entire मोहल्ला as well to Ahmedabad. उनको रखा वहां पर, बहुत आदर सम्मान से रखा, लेकिन अपने वो बिल्कुल पूरी फ्रीक आउट करने पे चली गई, और उसने कहा कि ये करना मेरे लिए जरूरी है क्योंकि हम इतना स्ट्रेस नहीं झेल पाएंगे, और पूरी जिंदगी मेरी किस तरह से गुजरी है सर आप तो जानते ही हैं। तो क्या वो बेटी थी, या जिसे हम लोग कहते हैं कि बेबी थी, कौन सी थी?
देखिए, she was probably going through an identity crisis because उसके अंदर बेटी के बहुत सारे गुण थे, क्योंकि उसने अपने फैमिली को एस्टैब्लिश किया, उसने मेहनत करी, पूरे मोहल्ले को एस्टैब्लिश किया, मगर कहीं ना कहीं in that whole process she got lost and she thought that she needs to become a baby to get that part of her life which she has a right to, and that is probably enjoying and letting loose and everything. तो ये एक आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस है, जो आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस आई थिंक मैंने भी शायद महसूस किया होगा, बहुत सारी लेडीज ने महसूस किया होगा, क्योंकि हम जब भारत में पैदा होते हैं, हमारे को ऑब्वियसली कुछ ट्रेडिशंस समझाए जाते हैं या अनकॉन्शियसली हम समझ लेते हैं। इंडियन विमेन बाय डिफॉल्ट आर वेरी पावरफुल। हम एक ऐसे देश को बिलोंग करते हैं जिस देश के अंदर एक पहली वुमन प्राइम मिनिस्टर आ चुकी है, उन्होंने रूल किया फॉर 2 टर्म्स इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द पार्टी दैट शी केम फ्रॉम। अभी तक यूएस में भी नेवर हैव अ वुमन हेड। तो आपको समझना चाहिए, जो लोग वेस्ट को कॉपी करते हैं ये सोच के कि वेस्ट इज मच मोर एडवांस्ड एंड मच मोर प्रोग्रेसिव इन टर्म्स ऑफ वुमन आइडियाज एंड विमेन स्टेबिलिटी, उनको नहीं पता कि हम भारतीय नारी है, भारत से है, जहां पर हमारे वैल्यूज बहुत स्ट्रांग है। मगर हम एक आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस से गुजरते हुए आ रहे हैं। वी हैव बीन ब्रेन वॉश्ड फर्स्ट बाय द मुगल्स, देन बाय द ब्रिटिशर्स। आपने एक ब्रिटिश लेडी का एग्जांपल दिया, और अब हमें ब्रेन वॉश कर रहा है सेक्युलरिज्म, जिसने कभी ना कभी फेमिनिज्म का नकाब भी पहन लिया है। देखिए, मैं अपनी बात करती हूँ, माय रोल मॉडल हैज बीन माय नानी। शी केम फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान, ओके, शी वाज बोर्न देयर, बट शी हैड टू पैक विद हर बैग्स एंड बैगेजेस, लीव एवरीथिंग। क्या बैग्स एंड बैगेजेस, 2 जोड़ी कपड़ा होगा, बिकॉज एवरीथिंग एल्स वाज लेफ्ट, एंड शी लेफ्ट विद हर 4 चिल्ड्रन अपने हस्बैंड के साथ, बिकॉज उनको अपनी जिंदगी बचानी थी। बट शी वाज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग इंडियन वुमन, क्योंकि उन्होंने अपने हस्बैंड को सपोर्ट किया, वो इंडिया में आए, फिर से शुरुआत करी। सो दैट इज व्हाट भारतीय नारी इज। भारतीय नारी इज बाय डिफॉल्ट वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग, मगर हमारे को कंडीशन किया जाता है कि शायद आपको, जैसे प्रीति जी ने बोला, प्रीति जी नहीं, सकल जी, सॉरी मैम, सकल मैम ने बोला कि how the servants in her house, the lady servant is not wanting her daughter to kind of study or not study but not work. She wants the daughter to study. Now that is an example जो मैंने भी महसूस किया है मेरे घर के अंदर. My ladies who come as house help, they don't want their lady children to become like them. They want them to become an officer, a doctor, take up a job. तो हमारे भारत के अंदर even at the lowest strand as well as in the upper middle class strand, women want their children, girl children to become something. मगर कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी ये लोग confuse हो जाते हैं feminism के चक्कर में, and you get people like Sonam Kapoor who don't know anything about feminism. Just wearing fashionable clothes is not feminism and not an example of a powerful Indian woman. A powerful Indian woman will be the first astronaut from India representing, the first lady in Indian Army, the first lady in Indian, Navy. These are examples of powerful women. मगर हमारे देश के अंदर एक confusion है. Beti is an example, is a name for a mature Indian woman, Bharatiya Nari. Baby is an example of an immature Indian woman जो confused है between Western culture and her identity. उसको बोला गया है कि if she's going to dress fashionably, that's the way she is going to be accepted by the West. I am not saying being dressed fashionably is bad, because I am also from that same thought process. I have always been a Western dressed person, but suddenly, slowly, I'm finding a shift where my values have always been Indian. मैंने अपने values से कभी I think इतना लगाव देखा या समझा नहीं था पहले, जब तक I met situations where I was forced to become a strong woman. Now yes. I am in Ahmedabad. I am here because my father stays here. He's suffering from prostate cancer and some other health ailments, and I feel I am the man because I have to do 20 things and still I have to manage what I like to do, maybe make videos on topics, maybe just do whatever I feel like. So मैंने वो जो बेबी सिंड्रोम जो आप बॉलीवुड में ज्यादा देखते हैं, जहां पर गॉड फादर्स का थॉट प्रोसेस होता है, शुगर डैडीज का थॉट प्रोसेस होता है, वहां पे वो बेबी सिंड्रोम ज्यादा दिखता है. बट टेक्निकली इंडियन women are बेटीज, they are strong बेटीज, and they will always be बेटीज, whether they be from a poor family, middle class family, or the higher strata. The higher strata obviously gets influenced by fashionistas like Sonam Kapoor, जहां पर वो समझते हैं कि बेबी बनना बहुत जरूरी है. जैसे सिद्धार्थ जी ने बोला कि वो स्लम की लड़की को लगा कि अभी मैंने ये सब कर दिया है, so now I need to go and party and chill and spend some me time. That me time can be yoga, that me time can be introspection. बट हम एक कंफ्यूजन के दौर से हैं, और वो कंफ्यूजन का दौर है कि भारतीय संस्कृति, अपनी संस्कृति से शर्मिंदगी महसूस करो, एंड दैट इज थैंक्स टू सेक्युलरिज्म, लिबरलिज्म एंड फेमिनिज्म. ऑल थ्री आर इक्वली रिस्पॉन्सिबल. तो जब मैंने सोचा कि मुझे इस टॉपिक के ऊपर बात करनी है, तो मुझे लगा कि ओ माय गॉड, दिस टॉपिक इज समथिंग व्हिच इज सो बेसिक बट वी हैव नेवर रियली डिस्कस्ड दिस. हम सबके अंदर बेटी और बेबी सिंड्रोम है, मगर हमारे को कहा जाता है कि baby is okay, progressive, beti is not progressive. People say that sari is not progressive, magar western outfit is progressive. So that is instilled in us through convent schools, through education, which is obviously governed by people who want us to be ashamed of being Indian. So I believe that conversations like this, जहां पर हम examples देंगे कि ये बेटी syndrome हमारे खून में है, हमारे DNA में है. It's just that we need to पहचानो it and we need to talk about it. And yes, Bollywood is pseudo when it comes to that. They want to portray themselves as beti, but they are full of babies. Yes, the Bollywood actresses are as dumb as it can happen. They will not talk. They will not open their mouth. They will talk about gender parity, not knowing what is the full form of gender parity. They will talk about CAA, not knowing the full form of CAA. They are actually examples of baby syndromes who are having extreme identity crisis in the times of nationalism.
Thank you, Payal. Now, there are two issues that we have raised there. फर्स्ट स्टेज है, पायल जी ने प्रोग्रेसिव के बारे में बात की और प्रीति जी ने बात किया था कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स में जो लड़कियां होती हैं वो इक्वालिटी को सेमनेस की तरह इक्वेट करने की कोशिश करती हैं. इक्वालिटी एंड सेमनेस, बोथ ऑफ देम आर नॉट द सेम. सेकंड पार्ट है प्रोग्रेस. प्रोग्रेसिव इज बीइंग प्रोग्रेसिव, बीइंग मॉडर्न. Secondly, this is a question to you. See, these two distinctions is being progressive, being modern, and the second is sameness, the same as equality. आप क्या कहना चाहती हैं?
Being progressive has nothing to do with being modern. I don't understand, first of all, what do you mean? What do we mean when we say, oh, she's very modern? Like what? Modern in what? I so relate to what Payal said and also Preity. Beti is stronger because she's Indian. And when I say she's Indian, I mean the way she is being groomed. Whether it is Anita's daughter or whether it's going to be my daughter or whether the way I have been brought up. Number one. Number two, जो आप modern की बात कर रहे थे, identity crisis है. I agree with you, Payal, completely. And I think वो लेकिन identity crisis अब diminish हो रहा है क्योंकि जो Bollywood being trapped in that pseudo intellectualism, that fear of being so irrelevant if I'm not seen constantly in news channels and on Twitter and on Facebook talking about Kashmir conflict to CAA to blast in Lebanon. I am so damn insecure if I don't have plus million followers. When I say I mean the modern babe of the Bollywood. Let's not attack Bollywood here. Let's confine ourselves to the modern babe narrative. So the modern babe narrative has to be seen on Instagram, Facebook, social media, parties, thanks to COVID. Now the parties are a thing of past. And at the same time, you have this Beti who is equally modern in her approach. She's fine to have a glass of wine. She's fine to do jharu pocha at her home. I mean, she's fine. She has realized that if I am not seen on a Facebook or if I'm not being seen talking on Twitter, if I come from a lower middle class, does that make me less modern? No. I think that thing is very much clear in their heads. And I cannot make fleeting remarks, but I think कुछ चीजें over a period of time बहुत clear होती जा रही हैं. जैसे Payal was talking about the pseudo fashionistas and they might not know the full form. I think ये जो narrative है, Mr. Siddharth, I think this is getting more. I mean, ये बात खत्म हो चुकी है. ये अब प्रेसिडेंट और प्राइम मिनिस्टर के नाम कभी किसी से पूछे गए थे, उनको इसका डिफरेंस नहीं पता है. आप उनको बोलेंगे जनगण मन किसने लिखा है, शायद उनको सोचना पड़ेगा. लेकिन उनके पास शुगर डैडीज या एसएसआर का केस डिस्कस करने के लिए अपने ही नैरेटिव्स होंगे. वो इसलिए होंगे क्योंकि उनको रेलेवेंट रहना है. So my intervention, my polite submission is that today Beti is not really stuck in that identity crisis. अगर किसी को identity crisis है तो वो baby को है. If Anjali, Anita's daughter, who comes to my house, and I'm really getting goosebumps because I love that girl so much. I was the one who once asked Anita 2 years back, can you just send Anjali because I have this party in the evening, she'll help me. And she did send her, but I felt criminal. And that girl was just sitting and watching. I didn't give her any cup. After 2 years, I realized that I was so guilty कि ये मैंने क्या किया. Because I realized, and now when we talk about the Beti and baby, I was the babe at that time. Because I wanted 10 people to help me and be relevant because I wanted 10 people to help me in the party where it was not required actually. And you had that Anita's daughter Anjali as a Beti there. And she had no problem coming over. That's a different issue that she didn't do anything. But she came. She came and she went away. Now when I look back, I realize that if anyone is more irrelevant today, it would be me and and a very okay. I mean, people say I'm known, but I don't think I'm known. A journalist who has 2 decades of work behind her, because I started very early. Exactly after my 12th standard, I got a break with a cable television. And I have no qualms in saying today I'm sitting in my room and office that I started my career with a local cable channel, Anjali. And I don't think I was a Beti then, and today I relate more to the Beti than to the baby. I've gone through my motions. I've gone through my motions of being caught between the Beti and the baby. But I think today women who have arrived, who want to arrive, who come from a certain background, certain grooming, certain set of values, certain struggles, certain phases of their lives where they also act like a man in a relationship. They are the ones, you both are laughing, they are the ones who don't go through this crisis. My partner is absolutely happy with me being sometimes, or maybe most of the times, this is like very personal, I'm sharing here on a public platform, the man in a relationship, he's fine, he's okay. Yes, the man is a man and a woman is a woman, biologically speaking, like Preity so beautifully, you defined that difference. That's fine. It's okay to be girlish. It's fine. But when we say it's okay to be girlish, I'm not saying that it's okay to be babe. Sorry. That thought process where more and more women identify with the babe narrative, I think that population, that those numbers are very minuscule. वो जो fakeness, pseudo, false, put on image, all of that, I think now society is more educated by and large. Not educated, I think they're more aware of things. If you have an ex-actress talking about Kashmir conflict, I think that's laughable. And if I am talking about, as a journalist, as an anchor, about Lebanon crisis and giving lectures on that, that is equally laughable. So whom are we fooling? The bottom line being, Mr. Siddharth, I will have to rush in 5 minutes. I have a recording. Beti is stronger than baby. Beti is stronger because she is Indian, not really demeaning others. We have Preity. Preity here is with us because she's Beti first, if I'm not mistaken, not caught in that baby syndrome. And I bet, I don't know whether I should be saying this or not, you bring on the table any baby and you bring on the table any Beti. Your Beti could be Anita's daughter or somebody else's daughter. At any given point of time, the Beti will be more cerebral, more informed, more bold, more aware. When I say informed, I don't mean general knowledge. I don't mean current affairs. I'm talking about general life skills than any babe in the globe.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, girl. Bye-bye. I'll take your leave. I'm so sorry. Bye.
Now, the issue that is being raised here is being Western always regressive? That is, are Western values always harmful? That's number one. And the second issue in this case is it that being progressive and being imitative, is it not that they are two different things? We're going to begin with you, Payalji. What are you going to say on that part? Start testing out.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, Celebrity. I just wanted to say, can we try to quicken it a little bit? We are a little behind schedule.
Yes.
Thank you.
I also have to go, so I answer this and then I can go after this. Okay. देखिए, progressive होना, Western होना जरूरी नहीं है. आप एक strong Indian भारतीय नारी हो सकती हैं और आप प्रोग्रेसिव हो सकती है. आपने अभी देखा है कि भारत के अंदर भारत की डॉटर्स को इक्वल राइट्स मिला है प्रॉपर्टी के अंदर बाय द हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट, मगर भारत के अंदर भारत की लड़कियों को तोड़ा जाता है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ धर्म. नाउ दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी वेरी सैड एंड दैट्स हाउ दे आर, they get caught in their own web of certain religious practices which are regressive and blah blah blah. But technically India and Indian values have always been progressive, क्योंकि भारत के अंदर हम औरतों को पूजते भी हैं. We have goddesses who are worshipped and we are proud of that, heritage. मगर there is been this continuous influx of secularism, liberalism, like I have mentioned earlier, which has confused a Indian girl जो शायद अभी कॉलेज में जा रही है. Maybe her fan, she's a fan of Al Pacino, or maybe she's a fan of or maybe Al Pacino, or she's trying to figure out identity crisis between Shah Rukh Khan. मगर दोनों के identity crisis के अंदर she is forgetting that she herself is a star because she's born in India and she can, swindle in both ways. She can go both ways. She can go Bharatiya. She can even be progressive in a thought process by being Bharatiya. Wearing clothes, changing your outfit doesn't make you progressive or regressive. That is what I want to tell you. Because there was a certain journalist who told me that Payal wants to probably come in politics. She should start wearing salwar kameez and she should start wearing sarees. And I'm like, excuse me, what has that got to do with my liking towards understanding politics or my future in politics? My outfits have got nothing to do with that. But that thought process is there either ways. In the Western thought process, connecting it to progressiveness, and sari, salwar, kameez connecting to regressiveness. तो ये thought process से हमको deal करना पड़ेगा.
Thank you, thank you. Now, taking a clue from that, are Western values always going to be bad? Who can go on to be best other than Preity to answer that? She has spent a good amount of her time in the West there. क्या Western values हमेशा खराब ही होते हैं, प्रीति जी?
No, I think the beauty of evolution is you get to you can have your cake and eat it too. It's not one or the other. I feel like in the West, their mentality is very much black and white. They're not. They're very kind of rigid and monotheistic in that way, just as the way that they view their faiths. They don't have this quality where they realize that they can actually take bits and pieces that work. And it's this syncretic sort of quality is very prevalent in our culture. Now, feminism means different things in different countries. Feminism in the US and feminism in India are two different things. The most dangerous thing I'm seeing is that the so-called left liberal, pseudo-liberal, whatever you want to call them by, they are superimposing these Western norms onto Indian society, not realizing that, number one, the Western framework itself is very flawed. There are a lot of blind spots there that now they're beginning to crack. And now, even especially to do with feminism, men and women here, there's a churn going on. And the women are not happy, the men are not happy. So all of these blind spots are coming up to the surface. They're bubbling up finally. It's like a mirror. They're seeing what's wrong with their society. And the second one is you don't need to superimpose these already flawed framework from the West onto a society like India, which is incredibly dynamic. It's open. It's pluralistic. Also, we have a framework that has remained intact for probably more than 5,000 years. I think we don't give ourselves enough credit. India has the solutions that the West is looking for, ironically. While people in India gaze at the West, trying to see how we can maybe be better by emulating them, in fact, they have questions that they don't have answers for, and they're starting to look east, and they're starting to look specifically at India. In the world of spirituality and philosophy, we have already seen this. I believe that the next area actually will be feminism. Now, I'm writing a book on this very issue where I look at Western frameworks and look at the blind spots, and then I compare that with Shakti and what it offers, because I think Shakti is a model not just for India, but also for the world at large. Post-COVID, I think this dharmic framework that we have is possibly the only thing that's going to be helpful for humanity, because it addresses the most pertinent issues, whether it's feminism, gender equality, environmentalism, and all that good stuff. So I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to, be quote unquote progressive. I think progressivism does not come from how you look or how you dress. It's a mindset, it's an attitude, actually being tolerant, being open, being pluralistic, being accepting. That's very progressive. So when you compare what we already have and how we are already progressive in a way that the West can only dream of. I think India has a kind of secularism, if you want to call it, or pluralism, openness that the West honestly can dream of. And their worldview will not lend them to thinking of their own society in those terms. So they have much to learn. We have something to learn from them too. I think the best thing for us is that we can learn from them, but we can hold on to Bharatiya values, which are actually priceless. And I think the world is beginning to see that India finds itself in a very interesting geopolitical sweet spot moving forward. I think this is a time for all of us to step up, not just politically, but also socially and culturally, and show the world who we are, what we're made of, and that we have answers and solutions for everyone. We should really be the go-to solution provider and make sure that we don't lose what is the most special thing about us, which is our culture and our tradition.
That's very well summed up. The crux of the entire of the discussion that has been, and it has been unanimous of course, that is a बेटी is a, at any point of a time, any day better. बेटियां हमेशा बेहतर होती हैं बेब से. और इसके ऊपर में एक अच्छी कविता भी है. इस पूरे बात का निष्कर्ष, इस पूरे बात का कंक्लूजन उस कविता से ही आता है. वह कविता है समस्या बेटे घर, समाधान है बेटियां, तपती धूप में जैसे ठंडी छांव है बेटियां, होकर भी धन पर आया सच्चा धन अपना, दिखाए हुए दुनिया को गुप्त दान है बेटियां. अपनी बदहाली की सबने बहुत चर्चाएं, है दांवती कमियों को मेहरबान बेटियां. तनाव भरी गृहस्थी में चारों ओर तनाव, व्यंग बाणों से बची जैसे ढाल है बेटियां. है वो दूर हमसे सबसे, फिक्र उन्हें हमारी, करती दुआ हरदम खैर खान है बेटियां. है बेटा कुल दीपक है घर में, घर ये रोशन जिससे, वो घर जिससे रोशन है वो आफताब है बेटियां. हैं लोग वो जल्लाद जो खत्म करते हैं उन्हें, टिका जिन पर परिवार वह बुनियाद है बेटियां. मानती है मन्नत बेटों की खातिर दुनिया, उन्हीं बेटों को बचाती हैं और बनाती हैं बेटियां. Thank you so
Wow.
much. Thank you so much, all of you, for being part of it. And it's because of you that the discussion has enriched and we have reached a conclusion as well. आप सभी लोगों का तहे दिल से शुक्रिया. आप सभी लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.